Hello everyone, this is Anju Bala and today we are going to study about the great poem written by the great poet John Keats, and the name of the poem is A Thing of Beauty. Of all the great poets of the early 19th century, John Keats was the last to be born and the first to die. Born in 1795 in the city of London to a poor stable keeper, he was brought up amid surroundings and influences by no means calculated to awaken the poetic genius. Keats, braving his ill health, his financial constraints, and the hostile criticism he received for his second volume, he continued undeterred, giving his best creations, the great odes in the last phase of his life. Keats breathed his last in February 1821 at the age of 26. Keats is rated among the greatest poets of England. A Thing of Beauty basically is an excerpt from Keats' poem Endymion, a poetic romance you can call it. It is one of his earliest creations which appeared in the volume of poems published in 1818. The poem is based on the classical Greek myth of the love of the moon goddess Cynthia for a young shepherd, Prince Endymion. According to this classical story, Cynthia descended from heaven to kiss her beloved Endymion, sleeping in everlasting youth on the top of Mount Litmus. In Caria, the enchanted youth resolved to seek her out and so wandered away through the forest and down under the sea. So basically you can say that the poem Endymion, as Keats himself wrote to one of his friends, is a test of his own powers of imagination and invention. Yes, talking about the theme, A Thing of Beauty is a source of constant joy. Beauty can be found everywhere. It is something that has the ability to transform life. It also highlights the fact that beauty has a therapeutic quality. That is, it has the ability to remove negativity. It can be any object, nature, tales, or even noble deeds of our ancestors. So we can say that this theme basically concentrates upon the happiness that never fades into nothingness, but multiplies manifold whenever it flashes on our mind screen. Now we will talk about the message of the poem. The message conveys a very beautiful thought that beauty is everlasting, its joy is forever, it transcends time, it will never fade away. Okay, and beauty has the power to remove the negativity. It helps us survive when there is lack of noble nature. When one is surrounded by evil, it has a positive impact. Now, coming to the use of allegory. Now, what is allegory? Allegory is a narrative fiction in which the agent and the action, and sometimes a setting as well, are contrived to make coherent sense on the literal or primary level of significance, and at the same time to signify a second correlated order of agent, concept, and event. So similarly, the story of Endymion has been interpreted as an allegory of the quest of the human soul for ideal beauty. Endymion stands for the poet as man, Cynthia for ideal beauty, the moon for the manifestations of that beauty in nature. Now we will move on to the next subtopic, that is the summary. So the very first stanza says that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Yes, the poet speaks of the permanent nature of the beautiful things, which gives us eternal joy. Its beauty goes on increasing, it never fades away. It never passes into nothingness. A beautiful thing is as comforting as a bower, which is a peaceful and pleasant place in the shade of a tree, providing shelter and protection from the hot rays of the sun, giving us sound sleep, full of pleasant dreams, health, and peaceful breathing. So, in a way, we can say that the impact of beauty is everlasting. The impression of beauty keeps on lurking in our mind and remains preserved in the memory as a quiet bower. And thus, with every passing day, on every morning, we prepare a wreath of flowers, which strengthens our earthly life. So, why are we wreathing this? Why are we wreathing or weaving a flowery wreath? To bind us to the beauty of the earth, despite our feelings of sadness and depression. We all possess negative attributes as well, of hatred and disappointment. We also suffer from lack of noble qualities and follow unhealthy evil ways. But in spite of all this, a beautiful thing helps us to remove the cover of gloom or darkness or our lives. It makes us love life despite the things that make us sad and dampen our spirit. Yes, moving on to the next stanza, it says that there are a number of beautiful things that have the power to uplift our spirits, like the sun, the moon, and the old and young trees. The trees sprout and spread their branches to provide shelter within their green covering shade. And for the simple sheep refers to human beings here. Okay, the simplicity, the innocence. Similarly, sight of daffodils blooming within their green surroundings, the clear rills, the small streams of the water which makes a cooling shelter for themselves against the hot season, the thick mass of ferns looking grand with their beautiful musk roses are all the things of beauty that makes us feel happy. And not only this, Keats further elaborates that even the mighty dead people whose achievements have made them great and powerful inspire us through their sagas of noble works. Their legends and stories enthuse us, and we imagine their magnificence. A beautiful thing is also a source of joy, just as the lovely tales we have heard or read gives us profound happiness. It is like a fountain of immortality gushing out of the nature's endless fountain, pours its sacred and immortal drink into the heart and soul of a man. And it is the best source of immense joy for all of us. So we have literally witnessed that Keats' love for beauty is being reflected in this romantic poem, and this love of beauty is the dominant note in his poetry from the early Endymion to his last poem Hyperion. Now we will concentrate and study about the poetic devices that is being used in the poem. Metaphor. It is an indirect comparison, and the metaphor that is being used in the phrases bower, quiet, sweet dreams, wreathing a flowery band, pal, endless fountain of immortal drink. So these are the list of beautiful example of metaphor and the symbol of natures. Now coming on to the alliteration is the repeat of consonant sounds that has been that can be witnessed in noble natures, cooling covert, bad to bind. Next poetic device that is being used is imagery. The beautiful image of the flowery bands, daffodils in the green world, cooling covert, shady boon, clear rills, grandeur of the dooms, endless fountain of eternal drink, creates a kind of image. A visual picture is being created in the mind, and that helps us in reaching to the desired poetic device that poet wants to create through the use of imagery. Now let's move on to the symbol. Symbols are also being used in the poem, and the one symbol that is being used is simple sheep. Here simple sheep refers to mankind, as a Christ is considered to be the shepherd who leads human souls out of the dark world of sins and temptations. Another figure of speech is transferred epitaph, gloomy days, oxymoron. The rhyme scheme you can see over here is being used as AABBCC. So once again we can say that qualities of thing of beauty is everlasting, it never goes waste, relaxing, comfort giving, it is invigorating, it is ageless, and last but not the least, it gives shelter and protects like a bower. Thank you so much. I would like to end the beautiful poem A Thing of Beauty